Welcome to CCTV America's graduation series. This week we're looking at the challenges facing the world's latest university graduates and newest job seekers. China is cranking out graduates at a monster pace. Government is expecting a record 7 million university graduates this year. That is 200,000 more than last year. Now, over the last 10 years, China's universities have been given diplomas to 39 million graduates. Just to put that into perspective, that's nearly the entire population of the country of Argentina. The latest data from 2010 show that people with some form of university education accounted for 8.9% of China's total population. That is more than double the percentage since 2000, and it's still growing. But in a head-to-head competition, China still has a long ways to go to catch up with the United States. 37% of adults here in the States have university degrees. Now, a highly educated workforce is a good thing for China's economy, but the question is, are there going to be new jobs for these new workers? Han Peng is in Beijing, and Han Peng, is there a sense of these challenges that face these millions and millions of graduates out there when they come out into the workforce?
Well, Phil, the numbers we've just gone through are not just figures, they're real stories of students in a desperate search for a good future. Well, during our interview, we visited several places where more than 20 young graduates were sharing one small apartment in Beijing as they sought for jobs. There were students from other places in China. They came to Beijing because they believe that in the capital, there might be more job opportunities.
If you hadn't read their resumes, you wouldn't know that these are some of China's elite college graduates. Some are from outside Beijing, others are last year's graduates, no longer eligible to live in the school's dorms. They all face the same dilemma. They haven't found a job and can't afford a better place to live. Most refused to appear on camera. They didn't want their families to know their predicament.
There are only 2 bathrooms in this dorm. Every evening, about 20 girls have to queue just to take a shower. It's terrible.
This bachelor degree certificate used to be a magic key for Chinese graduates to find a high-paid job. But here, it is just little more than a permission to rent a bed in a crowded job seekers' dormitory. As you can see, this is actually a 3-room apartment, but it's been divided into several beds. This is a shelter for over 20 youngsters looking for jobs. This year, more than 7 million Chinese students will graduate, the highest number in decades. 7 out of 10 have no job offer a month before graduation. In the past decade, the number of grads have nearly quadrupled. China's economy, while growing faster than most, hasn't been able to absorb the flood of job seekers.
Not just because there's more graduates. I think that the market in China has moved significantly from where it was last year. Last year, there was more control over the GDP, there was more control over the growth, there's been more control recently over the exchange rates. Companies are being more cautious about their planning for 2013 when it comes to hiring.
As China's economy places heavier emphasis on revenues from consumer spending, GDP growth has fallen from almost double digits to around 7.7%. Every 1 percentage point drop translates into a loss of around 1 million jobs. Despite the odds, these students choose to stick it out.
I think young people should have the courage to face the difficulties, and I believe one day I will be successful.
One suit and an old umbrella are the sum of these students' worldly possessions as they rush between job fairs in Beijing. For them, there is but one choice: to keep on going, hoping that their next interview will be the one that launches their careers.
Well, these university graduates form what the media here calls the ant group in China, meaning that just like insects, they spend all their day working but still don't get very far in building a decent life. And worse, many of the jobs that students do get here in China provide salaries which comparing to the rising cost of living here, really doesn't seem very high. The average salary, the official figures show that the average salary of a university graduate is just around 2,000 yuan, or $350 a month. not even enough to pay the rent of an apartment here in Beijing. And 2,000 yuan is just a little bit higher than the salary of the average salary of the migrant workers, who are believed to be one of the most underprivileged groups here in China.
And these are some amazing figures that you're giving, especially on the salary expectations. Let me ask you this. What can the government do? What should the government do? And what will the government likely do to help these graduates along?
Well, the country's leadership says it is very concerned about the failure of the university graduates in their job hunting. Premier Li Keqiang recently paid a high-profile visit to a university in Hebei. There, he told students that employment is fundamental to people's livelihood, and that he encouraged students to start from grassroots jobs, because it's been difficult to find jobs that looks decent, and the office jobs for white-collar workers. And also, the Ministry of Education has set up a special website trying to help students to find better jobs, trying to connect them with the labor market. It's been difficult for the government now to create more jobs for this record high number of university graduates, because at the moment, China is really determined to control its growth. So what the government can do now is to help students to connect better into the labor market with existing jobs.
Han Peng, great stuff out of Beijing, joining us live. Thank you very much.